guys? Welcome back to the No Holds Barred Network with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host, as always, the EVP of Giggles, the Heartbreak Chick, the Queen of the Indies, Tiffany. And today, my special guest is my good friend, Marc Angel. What's going on? You're flexing already?
Yeah, gotta get it in.
Got it. I love it. I love it. Guys, thank you for tuning in here on the Under the Rope series. I sit here, I interview everything independent wrestling, whether it's promoters, referees, wrestlers, anything behind the scenes. If it's out there at indie wrestling, I got you covered. If you guys have questions, I'm sure Marc will be very happy to answer any of your questions. Just drop them in the chat. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff that goes on. So,
Mark Mathers question. I will not answer not one of them. I'll answer anything.
Damn, like already, like, all right, guys, I guess the episode's over. So that's it.
If not, it's gonna be Marcus this, Marcus that, blah blah blah.
Oh boy. Okay, so no questions about that, I guess, right? All right, so let's start this off. So for people that might not know you and might not know your story behind, like, how did you get into professional wrestling?
I guess it's like everybody says, it's something that you watched when you were a kid. For some reason, I was happened to flip in the channels one day and came across it, and I loved it. I didn't know what I was watching, and it took me a while to find it again. Once I found it again, then it was like I was instantly hooked. And fast forward years later, a buddy of my brother's started training at some random school, and he knew how much I liked it, and he asked me, like, "Hey, you want to train?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, let's give it a shot." And I outlasted him, and I think he loved this a little more than I did. And going on 18, 19 years now, and yeah, he quit after about 2 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn. That's really quick. Wow. So 18, 19 years. Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's a little known fact. I've been 19 years I've been doing this now. It's crazy.
Wow. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah.
So this is something that, like, I talk about even with like the newer students of H2O, and I was like, it's so crazy. And you and me are actually the same age. So you and me pretty much grew up at WWF, right? I wasn't into WCW. I was completely WWF. I didn't really know anything about the indies till about 7 years ago, but we've come a long way with wrestling. And what did you watch growing up, and then like compared to what we have now is nuts?
Same. I was a WWF guy. Actually, a buddy of mine that used to work with me, he was WCW guy. So like when we found out each other liked wrestling, then he found out I was a wrestler and all that stuff. We were talking about that all the time. He hated WWF, and like I was like, man, how could you? And then we would go through everything. It was kind of cool to hear the different comparisons. But like I love WCW for. I could watch Nitro for the first hour, flip over to Raw, and then if I was still allowed to be awake, I would watch the replay in Nitro. So I kind of got the best of both.
Oh,
a lot of people. Sorry, did I?
We lost your video. What happened?
Sorry. I'm back. Sorry about that.
There we go.
So yeah, like I heard about ECW, but at that time I was hated by WWF. That I'm like, nah, ECW, that's garbage wrestling. Like, who wants to watch that? So like it was all just WWF, no indies, no ECW, none of that. And I highly regret that because ECW was 20 minutes from my house, and I never went one. Like years later, when I started watching it, I'm like, how and why did I miss this? Like, what is the deal? But yeah, that sucked missing out on that. But again, it was all WWF at that time.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And then like now what we have today is just nuts. So like compared to then, to be able to watch everything, besides the fact that we have WWE, we have mainstream of AEW now, we have New Japan, but now we're getting things again on all the apps. So we have IWTV, we have Power Slam, we have Fight. Like we could go on and on and on with all the apps that we have. So I mean, I know how I feel about it, but like that must like make you like feel a different way too, right? To like you go back and watch like matches that you've had on these apps.
Yeah, it's crazy. We talk about that a lot at the school, the H2O school. We tell the kids like, guys like, me and Tremont and a lot of those guys like, God, we sound old, but like when we started, there wasn't any of these platforms out there. Like you just basically had YouTube at the most at that
Right.
time. And like it's just me and Marcus was just talking about this again the other day about how there's such a plethora of like platforms out there now where
Right.
again it was just YouTube when I started. If you were lucky enough for YouTube, because promoters half the time wouldn't even send you your stuff. So you lucky got a DVD or you got YouTube. But yeah, there's so many different platforms now. Like you said, the IWTVs, these fights. There's just so much out there, and it's amazing now. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish I had that when I started. I mean, it's just insane with the amount of stuff you can see now, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff to keep up on too. So like, I wish I had time to keep up on it all.
It's difficult. It's so difficult for someone who be's an advocate for independent wrestling. It is impossible to keep up with everything. And by the time that you have the time to watch something you wanted to watch, then something else comes out and you're like, damn.
I'll tell you who's like a independent wrestling encyclopedia is Sean Henderson,
Mhm.
and even Ryan Redfield. Like Ryan, man, he's H2O encyclopedia. He can tell you every undiscovered, every almost every event, everything. But
Wow.
Sean's like an independent wrestling encyclopedia because he'll be throwing guys out there all the time, and I'm like and he'll it's crazy the amount of people like he knows who about this person, that person, and I'm like I can't even keep up. Like how do you know all this?
I
Like
know.
it's hard for me to keep up with some of our stuff sometimes, let alone all this outside stuff. Like he's definitely like a walking independent encyclopedia. It's crazy.
Damn. Well, I need to get Red on the podcast, so that's a future interview that I must make happen. And Sean Henderson is actually going to come on a couple of days before his show next month on the 30th. So
Nice.
I told him that I thought it would be a good idea that he comes on a couple of days before the show so that we could talk about that. So you guys stay tuned. So he's gonna come on. But that's been like really a big chunk of my focus is to H2O lately because there's so many great up and coming talent. It's crazy to me that these kids are so young and they're so hungry that I could only imagine what they're going to be like the next couple of years and what they're going to do.
They have they have such a crazy talent pool right now down there. Like it's insane, and they're all insanely good,
Yeah.
and they are all going to leave their mark one way or another on the Indies. And that's not just me just saying that because I have to or anything to be the company guy or anything like
Right.
that. That is like for up until the pandemic hit. I mean, I was there with them training almost every single day, other than Matt and Preacher and guest trainers. Like I was the only one there with them. The length amount of time that everybody else was,
Right.
and you could see some of these kids, man. They are going to go far,
Yeah.
and it's insane to have that many that are that good.
Yeah.
It's not you have one or two that's not a little behind, but they'll catch up. But no,
Right.
these kids, man, and they all try to better each other. They're all they support each other. They and all that stuff. So like they got a really really good crop of kids down there. It's ridiculous good.
They really do. Like, oh my God. That's why I said, like, I've been trying to focus a lot on H2O because I feel like now I'm seeing now a lot of people are focusing on H2O. And I want to bring that to everybody so you guys can see the talent. And even if you haven't watched it, then you need to go watch it. So we just had Rocket on last week. If you guys didn't watch that interview, go back on the No Holds Bar Network and go watch that. You could just tell how, like, humble he is and, like, how hungry he is. And it's amazing. So every interview that I do, I definitely see it. So I can only imagine how you feel watching them train and see how they do have each other's back and all that. Ref Nick is in the chat. What's up? How are you? He just wrote ugh. Damn, the salt already. I love it. So who are some of your influences though, growing up?
Definitely Shawn Michaels. I'm pretty sure everybody says that, but it's the
Yeah.
truth. Art. I love Brett and Shawn and like Steve Austin. Obviously, like when you're younger, it's the Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior. Until you start, getting a little older and start really into the wrestling part of it, maybe, and not so much characters. That
Right.
not that, but yeah, definitely Shawn and Brett were like the two biggest. Like even Shawn at the Rockers, I was just enamored by Shawn Michaels,
Right.
and it's been split and all that. Like for some reason, something drew me to Shawn Michaels. Like, I remember being a kid, like, we're running around. My friends want to play wrestling. I'm like, all right, well, I'm Shawn Michaels. You're Marty Jannetty. Like every single time. If anybody tried to fight me on it, no, you're not. I'm not Marty. You're Shawn, or
Right.
I'm Shawn.
Right.
And yeah, like, and definitely like Bret Hart too. Bret
Yeah.
Hart was one of my idols growing up.
Those are definitely like two of mine. I had like my bedroom like full of posters. I had the hats, I had the shirts, I had the little finger things. Like, forget it. Like, so I do feel like that is everybody's answers, but those were like the best, like back then in the days of that era. And it's crazy to see what we had and what wrestling's like now. It's definitely
Yeah.
changed because I took a big gap of absence with wrestling myself, and I came back to about 7 years ago. And I was like, wrestling changed big time to the
Oh,
better.
it's a world of a difference now. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I know. Nick said you're influenced by Spanky.
Oh God. Nick who?
Papa Gordio.
Oh, I hate you. You used to be my favorite referee. I hate you.
Ooh, you in trouble now. Did I just start? If you're gonna do anything, can you wait till like I come to a show so I can make some footage of it?
From here on out, I used to request Papa Giorgio for all my matches. Spanky it is all the way now, Papa G. You ruined it.
Ooh, you screwed up. Do you remember your first like independent show that you attended?
It was CZW. It was a Delaware show. I forget the name of the show. Super Crazy was on it. Tajiri was on it. Tajiri wrestled Justice Payne. I want to say that was the main event, but if not, it was like close to main event. I actually did my senior project in school on pro wrestling because I knew, this is what I wanted to do, and I just love wrestling. So it was like there was a no brainer for me. This is easy. I can do this. And I got talking to some of the CZW guys, and they're like, "Hey, come down to the show, we can get you some interviews, stuff like that for your stuff." I was like, "All right, cool." I literally had no idea what I was walking into, and I'm like, at one point, I'm standing in line, and they're brawling throughout the crowd, and a chair comes flying over my head. I'm like, "What the hell am I doing here? Like, what?" And then my teacher comes out, and I'm like, "Oh, yo, this guy's pretty badass. Like, what like, who is this?" And then just as the show progressed, it was just like I was hooked.
Yeah.
And like the only downside to that night was it snowed. This was before GPS, so like my uncle got lost coming to get it. That was a nightmare trying to get back home, but like I was hooked on CZW from that point on. That was my taste of real independent wrestling.
Yeah.
Was that CZW show.
Yeah, it's definitely different than mainstream. That's why I think I like it a lot more. Oh man, they're talking crap and they're talking smack in the chat. I love it. Chuck Payne, what's up? He put the dead emoji. Nick says, what?
Burn. Chuck just made burn. Go away, Chuck.
Nick says, you want to keep that title Saturday? Give me lots of money.
I kind of figured. I'm working a little bit of overtime for you, Papa G, so I can get that payoff.
Oh man, Jess says you don't bleed enough for Papa G anyway.
Yes, Jess. I try.
You guys are awesome. And Chuck's writing blah 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 blah.
What Roy Ham by Chuck Payne? He's got a right hook. It's a mean one.
Yeah, I'm a little scared. I don't know. I'm a little scared. I don't know. Are you gonna like hurt me if I have you come on the pod in the future? Like, I'm a little nervous. Like, I think I'm a little nervous with G Raver. G Raver's coming up too. I don't know. You guys just make me a little nervous.
he's one of my favorite guys in wrestling. But I'll talk about that later. But yeah, G Raver. I love G Raver.
Oh yeah. It's great. There's so many people. It's hard. I try to, just like we just say that we try to keep up with all the wrestling out there. I try to keep up here with all the interviews of all you guys out here. It's hard. So I'm booked up to next month. So I'll get you guys on if you guys want to come on, definitely. So
that's awesome. At least you're busy. You're booked up. That's awesome.
Yeah, we gotta get it out there. We gotta support independent wrestling, right? That's the deal. But definitely it's got to be different also too, right? Like you were talking about like CZW, right? And I remember, and I got to get the wrestler on here, that I told him the story at the bar, And I went to an SWA show. The SWA is not running anymore in Long Island. And the bearded villain, he was, I forgot who he was wrestling, but it was the first time I saw skewers. And I wasn't like known of this. And all the skewers happened into his forehead and he started bleeding. I legit walked up, got up and walked out. I was like, no. And it was funny because when I talked about this with him like recently, he was like, you were there for that? I got in so much trouble for doing that because nobody was ready for that. So somebody like me, now I love it. Forget it. I like tubes. I love all these death matches. But I mean, how is like that transition for you? Like again, growing up and we've watched cage matches, ladder matches, but nothing like the death matches that we're getting nowadays. So like, how is that transition for you?
Even yeah, that was nuts. Like I think I would have done the same thing had I not had to like finish off my project, these interviews. I probably would have left when that chair got launched over my head. I'm literally standing for a hot dog and whoop. I was like, how is that? Like, why? I thought a fan threw it. I'm like, they throw them at the wrestlers here? Like this is insanity. Like, what did I just come into? And then like I said, the more it went on, like, and it got me. And like I don't think they did like a death match at that show. I definitely know there was a lot of weapons and tables and things like that. CCW shows back then. That's a lot of that. But yeah, it was crazy. And like, I don't think nothing ever really like made me uncomfortable, but it was just like, it was a world of a difference. Like, man, you don't see this on TV. This guy getting like destroyed with this chair or trash can. These guys are jumping off the top rope with trash cans on their heads and stuff like that. Like, this is wild, but in a pretty cool way.
Right. So what about the transition to actually do like a death match, like compared to what it was? Like you said, you've been working for what, 18, 19 years in wrestling. So in the beginning, it wasn't like that. So now, like, forget it. Forget the fan base that we got nowadays for it. But that's got to be a lot mentally, physically, on you.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. My first like taste of it was with Matt Tremont, and like me and Tremont's we've had a lot of battles. We we did it was a WWE hardcore style match in a little promotion in South Jersey, DWF. We did a loser leaves. Matt was kind of going on, getting really big in CCW. So he was doing his thing, and we had I had a first taste of it doing that. And then on point was when like really started getting into doing more hardcore and like kind of closer, getting closer to the real deathmatch stuff.
Right.
So like, yeah, it's definitely crazy to think about like, oh man, I'm going to get thrown in this barbed wire now. This is going to be fun. Off go. But it's kind of those things you just get in there and wing it. For me anyway, I just get in there and go. And I do overthink some things sometimes, which my awesome tag partner Jimmy Lyon always likes to point out to me all the time. He likes to do the really, really dumb stuff where I'll just do dumb stuff.
Yeah. Frankie first said Marc Angel is my favorite wrestler. And then he goes, yeah, he's really old. Like, Frankie, we gotta fight, man. Like, for real, because then that means I'm old. Like,
is that Frankie Picard?
Yep.
Oh, he's just mad because I beat him in Delaware too. He's just mad. See all these salty ass dudes on here. Go.
Ooh. Look what you guys did. Okay, so you did bring up Matt Tremont. That was actually going to be one of my questions, pretty much. Like, you've worked so much with him. There's so many matches. I had even like seen a bunch myself. So, but how special has it been to you? Like working with him, working everything with H2O, watching him retire, training with the kids, like the whole package of it.
It's actually really, really cool. Like I said, me and Matt, we've had a ton of matches. Each one gotten better, and actually that's kind of what introduced, not really introduced. Mark was always around it, but like Mark got involved in one of the matches with me and Matt at the end. And I super kicked him. He was probably 12, 13 at the time. And that kind of set up me and Matt in the no rope barbed wire. Could have did a little better with, but I did it and it was awesome. But it's crazy to see that, and him and I are really tight. Like Matt has been there for me a lot of times when I really needed somebody. He actually came to my house one time looking for me, and probably looked like a weirdo trying to find me, but he found me. So like it's been really cool being, Matt's a really good friend, and he was awesome to work with in the ring all the time. And I don't think I don't think anybody has anything bad to say about Matt Tremont.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, doing the hardcore match, and I know he knows what he's doing. He takes care of you, so like all the trust in the world is with him every single time. Even with Mark now, all my trust is with him. So yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Definitely. Oh, you guys in the chat are hilarious. Like Chris Bradley's in the chat. He's coming on the network Friday, guys. So here's the announcement. Look out for the thumbnail. He's coming on Friday at 8 o'clock. So make sure you tune in for that. He said the Jorts King Marc Angel.
Look, he's been begging me for a pair of jorts. Don't let him lie to you. I told him as soon as I find him one, I'm going to gift it to him. I'm going to buy it for him. I'm going to gift it to him, and he's going to wear it, and he's going to love
it. Let's see. David Russell, he says, Marcus, my hero, my good friend wrestler. So that's right. And then Frankie says, the fact I can lie, he is old, and he did beat me.
I'm right. Yeah, I was right, so.
And Chuck Payne called you a son of a bitch, pretty much. You guys are hilarious. I'm Ryan McGill. How are you? He said, psst, Mark. I love the fact that like wrestlers come in and talk smack in my chats all the time when I do these live interviews and podcasts. So I had a panel recently for a show, and all the wrestlers started coming in and talking smack because we had Eric Corvus on, and one of my fellow podcasters was starting to feel very uncomfortable, and he's like, "This is why I don't go live." I was like, "Oh, I love it when everybody comes in and talks smack. It's great."
The best. Not like it. It's awesome.
Definitely. I feel like I get like that special feeling that I'm like, oh, I feel so honored that all this shit's going on in my chat right now. So, okay. So you've been in singles, you've been in tag matches, you've been in gauntlet matches. Is there a type of match that you haven't had that you would one day like to check off your bucket list?
Oh, man. I've done cage matches. I just done a Devil's Bull Rope match with Drew Blood at Subterranean Violence. That's my second bull rope match, but like the barbed wire and the cheese grater thing, that was the first for me. That was really fun. That sounds pretty expensive. That's fun, but yeah. Man, I would love to do that barbed wire cage we have at H2O. I've never done something like that. I would love to do something like that.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, definitely the barbed wire cage, I think, is one match I would love to do.
All right, let's make this happen, guys. Come on, let's make it happen. It's funny. Chuck Payne said this. He goes, "You kicked your kid, man, shaking my damn head." And it was funny because this was one of my questions. I was like, first, you super kicked him at OPW Blood, Guts, and Glory. You've had a no ropes barbed wire. Well, no, not that, but the fact that I watched the match the other day because like I was like, I need to watch this match again. And the fact that they started a chant, "Hug your son." Like, what's up with that? Like, it's like, that's so funny. But
that nuts. That's probably Marcus's first and only ever heel turn ever. He kicked Matt in the junk. It was awesome.
Oh my goodness, I can't. It's messed up, so messed up. But
and the thing is about when I super kicked him. I called him and I didn't know he had school pictures the following Monday.
Oh no!
Yeah, so he had a nice little shiner, and I'm like, dude, just get your mom to like make it up or something. I apologize.
Oh
I
no!
He didn't tell me, and I was like, oh, it's Saturday. I don't think it's gonna go away by Monday, bud. So
get the concealer. Wow.
Yeah.
Get the concealer. That's crazy though, but that's gonna be cool too. Like to watch, your son like following your footsteps as well. Like it's gonna be really neat.
It's funny because a lot of people like when he first started training, like he's gonna be better than you, and I'm like, he's already better than me, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. So like it's insane. His in every aspect, he is just killing it right now. He's creativity is. Just everything. His in ring, his out ring. He wrestles for his high school team as well. So there's a lot of times he's pulling 2-a-days. He's training at school, then he's going to training at the gym, and then he's doing matches at school on Saturday mornings, and then going to matches Saturday nights. Pro wrestling. So like he's kid puts the work in. So
Yeah.
he's phenomenal.
Well, you could definitely see it. I know you and me got to chat during the weekend of Tampa and how cool is that? And you had said like that he flew down to Tampa with one booking and then he wind up with four, which is crazy. And he's definitely like a lot of people are talking about it. Like this is like the new kid, like the new, EVP of whatever, the MVP of coming up. And it's funny because I noticed even people that I know on a personal level that they started talking to me too. They were messaging me. They're like, "Oh my god, like this kid is good." I was like, "I know he's good. That's why I had him come on the podcast." I was like, this is why I do these interviews, because I usually catch a lot of really, good people that wrestle. But that's so crazy. GCW, violence and suffering, like
He did
it's
the Acid Cup. He did
yeah,
the IWTV Family Reunion show. I mean, it's again same thing. He was hitting me up at hey, I got another match. I'm like, dude, like, give me a little bit of warning so I can try to watch it. And like, I caught 3 out of the 4 I got to watch.
right.
So it was pretty awesome to see that. I mean, the matches were really good. Everybody, him and JJ Garrett was awesome. I loved every second of that. I mean, he even got Tony Atlas put them over.
Yeah.
Came in the locker room and was talking to him about stuff, and so yeah, he had a crazy weekend. Like
He did.
yeah,
He did. He was messaging me too, and I was like so excited. He goes, "You might want to watch this match. You want to watch this show." I was like, "I got you." I was like, "Don't worry." I was like, "I'll be very loud on Twitter." I was like, "For you," because I support all my people, and I know TJ Crawford, a personal fan of the podcast as well. Like I was so excited to see these two, and even TJ Crawford said to me, he was like, "I want to work with him, like one on one," because they were in that, was it the 6-way? At
yeah.
Violence and Suffering, it was 6-way, right? And he was like, he's a good kid, and I was like, I was like, this needs to happen. Like this just needs to happen. I need to see this as a singles match going further. But yeah.
I was he made it to the last elimination, which was super awesome too. So he got a little bit more time and a little bit more exposure and stuff like that. So that was pretty awesome. And he, like I said, he wrestled a hell of a match. All them guys did. Those guys are phenomenal too.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to see him, make it to the end.
Yeah, no, it's so great, so great. Like I say it that he's gonna become like so famous and he's gonna forget about me. Like, being like, who's that? Like, I had you on the podcast. Like, didn't you tell me that he was gonna charge you for an autograph?
Yeah, and he makes me pay for merch, so like it's ridiculous. He used to take all my stuff all the time. Now he's charging me for merch. Like, damn, dude.
Damn, the salt. Like, come on, like, nah. All right, let's move to a fan tweet. The great HB. I'm sure you saw this. He goes, ask him about the time he nearly killed Hornswoggle with his car.
All right, so it literally, like, we're leaving WrestleCon or something like that when they were in California. I think WrestleMania 31 weekend. I literally didn't see Hornswoggle walk in front of my car, and it was probably that close to me just wiping them out. And then,
wow.
Oh, somebody's there. I swear to you, I didn't see him. I was paying attention. It wasn't like I was distracted or anything like that. I did not see this guy come walking in front of my car. I mean, it was bad.
That's funny. I see Stan's in the chat, and this was actually one of my questions. But he said, "Hey, Mark, what did you do to the IGB title? And you ready for your match Saturday? You know Ray Lynn is undefeated." Oh, it's there. Oh.
Ooh, look how pretty, Stan. I'm glad you asked. Look how pretty. It upgraded. Stan sent me an awesome present, by the way. Thank you, Stan. Like he did. He really went out of his way to make this possible. So I appreciate it.
I love it. It's too funny.
Seeing that Stan's face around my waist, and Stan knew it, so he customized my belt for me. So I appreciate it.
There you go. They're laughing in the chat. That's great. I love it so much. He's putting sad faces. Okay.
He sent it to me. Like I come in, it's a box on my thing, and like yeah. So
Yeah, if you guys didn't see that, he posted the video. So it was funny because I think Tim tagged me in the video. And I was laughing because I think it was one of the shows. I thought like maybe like a belt changed or something. And I'm like, dude, kayfabe. And he was like, no. And I was like, and then he tagged me. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, because I didn't watch even the latest H2O because I was at another show. So IWTV, come on, because I need to watch it. Like, let's go. um,
Yeah, Tim was I was taking pictures with it the other day, and Tim saw it, and I was like, oh, I guess you didn't see the video because I kind of did post it, so I was like, all right, cool, no big deal, whatever, and they loved it, so yeah, it's
that's great.
Great.
It's always about the personal touches to everything that always like mean a lot, so that's great. Look how pretty.
Perfect, and like. Look how happy.
That's great. That's the best thing ever. It really is. Okay, give me one of your best road trip stories.
Oh boy,
I'm sure you have plenty.
Oh God, best road trips. Oh boy, let me think about this. So this is when I started training with Trent Asset and Johnny Casimir at the Animal House in Philly. They had a booking in somewhere in New York, and again, this is before GPSs were on your phone, and GPSs were still a ton of money to buy at the time. We get to the show. They wrestle. I don't remember who they wrestled. But like New Age Outlaws were on the show. It was like the Frank Goodman show. New Age Outlaws were on the show. They wrestled the Christopher Street Connection, which was, oh God, it was the most hilarious match I think I've ever seen in my life. But so we go out afterward. We're just having fun doing our thing, and then we're going home, and apparently we got lost.
Ooh.
Trent, Trent, all right, I'm gonna take a nap. Everything's cool. We're on the road, whatever. Johnny's freaking out about it. Like, we're lost, we're never getting home. And then Trent pops up, and then those two start going at it. I'm like, guys, it'll be fine. They were just, and Trent's just laughing at it. Like, dude, we'll get home eventually. Like, yeah, eventually. It's like 4 in the morning. I just want to go home and go to bed all day and all night. And it's just, that was one of the craziest ones. And it was funny. It's like one of them had to be there moments type deals. Just to hear them argue and Trent kind of just laugh about it the entire time. Like, everything's fine. And Johnny's like, no, it's not. We're lost. We're never home. And like, dude, we're going to get home at some point. Like 6 the next morning, but we did get home. But that was one of the craziest ones. But it was pretty funny. It was one, like I said, had to be there type moments to really appreciate how funny it was just to hear them two go at it about that.
David in the chat, he said, came to the wrong Mark interview, dead, thought it was his son's interview. I've interviewed his son. Check that out. That's on the No Holds Bar Network as well. But yeah, I definitely have interviewed him as well. Actually, it was funny. My best friend Brad actually put a post and he said that this was going to be a really good interview, but he said next I have to have you both on. So we'll make that happen in the future to have you guys both on because that'll be fun. Do you have any pre-match rituals?
Not really. Kind of just sometimes I just kind of go off in my own little world and kind of just hang out by myself for a little bit and just kind of think things through and stuff like that. But nothing really crazy,
nothing big. Jeff Warner came in. He goes, Marcus Matters is better, right, Mark? Damn.
I'm going to start calling my cutter because it is better than Marcus. It's going to be called Better Than Marcus. That's it. The cutter is now called Better Than Marcus. Everything I do from here on out, better than Marcus. Stop me, Marcus.
Damn, the salt, man. We're showcasing Mark here. You guys, come on. Like, damn.
Marcus had his time last week. It's my time. Leave me alone about it.
Yeah, we're focusing on him right now. Okay, so again, for somebody that never seen you before, never seen you in the ring, in your opinion, like, what is one match that you would recommend, like your best match that they should watch?
Oh man, there's been a few over the last couple of years. Like anything like even like a lot of like the intergender bonanza shows have been really really good for me. Wrestling Holly Dead. My match with Maxine Taylor was pretty good. Holly Dead was one of my best ones. Zoe Sky I got to wrestle, which is really good. If you're into intergender stuff like that,
Yeah.
the intergender bonanza is the way to go. There's a little bit of everything for everybody. Really good wrestling, and like you got your haha, you got a lot of cool stuff. So like if you're into intergender wrestling, those are some of my best stuff there. Like hardcore wise, like me and Drew Blood just had a really really good Devil's Rope Bull Rope match. Anything me and Matt was always fun. Me and Jeff Cannonball had a really good one. Yeah, stuff like that. Like anything I've really done, like H2O wise, has been really good. Me and Jimmy Lyon had an insane staple gun match at Mystery Violence Theater 1.
Wow.
Yeah, I stapled balloons with forehead. And
okay, I gotta go back.
Oh, he has to pull the string out of the staple to get it to come out of his head.
Oh no!
And I sung Happy Birthday to him too while I did it. So I was nice.
Okay, I gotta go back and watch.
Yeah, like those are probably some of my best stuff right there. That's actually out there and accessible right now on IWTV.
Right.
Stuff like
I love
DVD, Smart video downloads, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's great with all that stuff. And it's funny because you bring up intergender matches. Like, I love intergender matches. Like, big time. Like, a big fan of it. So, like, that's gonna be weird too, right? Like, it obviously now it's fine. It's normal. Like, everybody's doing it, right? Like, we see all these great intergender matches. But again, this wasn't something that we really saw back then in the day. So, how is that transition too for you from, not working intergender matches and now like here it's like explosive now?
Yeah. I've had a couple friends ask me like, what it's like to wrestle, this girl or that girl. I'm like, dude, some of these girls can legitimately kick most of these dudes' ass. Yeah. Holly Dead is one tough girl. Like she probably beat a lot of these dudes' ass for real. So like a lot of guys kind of discredit the intergender stuff, but like these girls are good.
Yeah.
And I hate to give credit to Stan, but Stan does book some pretty high quality, top quality talent in terms of girls, and like we get to have really good matches. But like the first real one was with Zoe Sky, and I kind of like get a nice little lariat at times. We were just talking afterwards, and she's like, "Yeah, you kind of pulled back a little bit." I was like, "Yeah, a little bit." I felt awkward, like the height, and just I don't know. I just felt awkward just laying it in like I would with one of the guys.
Right.
After that, though, she kind of told me like, "No, you laid in a little bit," and I'm like, "Okay." So after that, like each time, like it's just we treat each other equally.
Right.
It is what it is, and you just go out there and have fun. It's, like I said, some of the best matches I've had with some of these girls in these intergender shows.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a bunch of females on the network too, and they said that some of their best matches are with men, and I've seen it. So, and it's funny because even like Casey Casal, right? Like here, a lot of us are used to her doing intergender matches. So I'll have friends like message me like, "Oh my God, she's wrestling a girl? Like I'm not used to this," because we're so used to her wrestling all these great intergender matches. And like even she said she's had some of her best matches. Even her and LSG was like one of my favorite matches with her and Jimmy Lloyd in a bar, in the barbed wire, in the death match, and it's just crazy. And these women today, like, amazing. They very different, and like you said, they take it like you guys, and they're really good. So definitely there's a little bit of wrestling for everybody, right?
Yeah, and like I said, some of these girls, like it's the best matches I've had. Like Zoe Sky has been awesome. Even my tag match, we had a tag match. Me and Jimmy, or excuse me, Chandita wrestled Xavier Cross and Masha Slamovich. That was good. We did Adina Steele was really really good. She's definitely somebody that's gonna up and coming, and she's decent too.
Yeah.
So like it's like I said, a lot of people discredit it because it's like it's not believable. Well, get in there with some of them. It's 100% believable. They'll kick your ass. And,
oh yeah, I see it. And how they can hang with some of the God, I give so much credit. Like I could never do it. So it's like I always say that I sit here and I give a lot of credit because I could never do it, and I could only imagine how it feels and all the training that you guys do. I'd puke after probably like not even a lap.
It's funny when I used to be able to go to training. Like we trained up in Phoenixville after the Animal House. We left the Animal House. we train up in Phoenixville, PA, which is, in traffic days, it's like 2 hours away. Um, Sorry,
No,
baby, you just got home.
no, you're good.
So like we used to eat like Big Macs and stuff like right before training, and like it was nothing. Like we
Right.
just and go in and train, and that's it. Now if I even thought about doing something like that, same like you were saying, that'd be it. I couldn't
Right.
puking all over. It's like even just doing the cardio stuff. No, thank you. Like now I no.
Yeah. Definitely. What's some things you like to do when you're not in the squared circle?
uh, I work a lot. So I don't really get a lot of free time outside of wrestling. And up until Mark started driving himself, a lot of my free time was spent taking Mark to training and taking Mark to, a few shows here and there that he was booked on. He got booked on a Dropkick Depression show to rep. And I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. I'm taking my kid to a booking. Like, and I'm not on the show. I got on the show, but it's like, man, this is insane.
Right.
So yeah, like it's kind of just hang out with my kids, and that's really it.
Yeah.
I don't really get do too much.
Chris is in chat. He goes, "Is it true the legendary vet Battleship trained you?" And he said you suck. So just so you know.
Battleship was an interesting guy. We met at Brawl Wrestling, where Jimmy Lyon and I are still the tag team champions. Thank you very much. Yeah, he was an interesting guy. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what else to say about that guy.
I like to ask this question to everybody who comes on the podcast for for some laughs. What's the craziest thing a fan's done to get your attention?
Oh God.
I've heard some great stories. And then some I've had that said that nothing. They haven't, that they felt that they weren't important enough to come after.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with that answer. I really haven't gotten too much crazy stuff. Like obviously, the shit talking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazier because of Mark now. So as soon as I walk in a room, everybody in the world is on me about my son's better than me and stuff like that. It's like, oh my God. Before that though, nothing really crazy to get my attention. No.
Mm-hmm. So what's the end goal here? Like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh man. I don't know. I guess just being all around a good person, good. I definitely pride myself on being a good hybrid wrestler because I feel like I can go in there with anybody and do their style. I mean, I'm not a high flyer, but I can get in there with the high flyers. I've done the hardcore. I've been in there with Louis. Like I won Survival the Sickest 4 tournament, and like I'm in there with guys like Low Life Louis, Matt Tremont, Reed Bentley, John Wayne Murdoch, and I'm like looking around like, oh my God, these are like the be all end alls of right now deathmatch wrestling, and I get to share the ring with them. So like that right there is nuts. But yeah, just I guess just being an all around good guy and just, being a decent hybrid wrestler. And I mean at the end of the day now it's all about Marcus. He's gonna take off, and that's kind of the goal. That's what I look forward to.
That's great. Yeah, definitely. That's great. So I have one final question. If you guys have any questions in the chat, drop them, and then we'll talk about what's coming up. But I always like to end my interviews off with, to all inspiring and amateur wrestlers out there, like what's a piece of advice that you would give them?
Ears, eyes open, mouth shut. Get the training, just work hard, put the work in. Like when I started, if I could have lived in our wrestling gym, I would have lived in our wrestling gym. I loved it. I loved it more than anything in the world up until, I had Mark kind of at the same time I started, so it was kind of hard for me to kind of move on. Don't have kids at a young age. There you go. That's one piece of advice. I don't regret it, but at the same time, that kind of, that was one of the factors of me not being able to really travel a whole lot at that age. Right. But yeah, just go to training, man. Don't ever stop paying your dues and just work hard. That's one good thing about the H2O kids. They're all doing everything the right way. They're all busting their butts. They're paying their dues. They're training 2, 3, 4 times a week. and then shows. You got Undiscovered. You got the student shows, which aren't even really student shows anymore because these kids are so good, and like even you even have like the main roster on those shows too.
Right.
So yeah, just train, do things the right way. Just be a good person, and it'll come back to you. I mean, yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, let's talk about. I have a couple of flyers here. We have the 2021 event schedule for the student shows. I have to make my way down there. I promise that I will. I think I'm gonna come to one of the student shows when I think with one of my friends and her daughter when she's done with school. I think we're gonna come up on a Monday because I have a little bit of a you guys are far. You guys are about 2.5 hours from me, but I still going to show my face because I know you said you're gonna boo me. But
Not boo.
damn the salt, like really. So let's talk about the student shows for anybody because I don't think like we've gone into details. I don't think anybody I've had on prior that we've gone into details about the student shows. Like so they're cheap, right? They're like what, $5 to get in? Yes, it's on the thing. So they're every other Monday. Doors open at 7:30. Starts at 8. How long are they? How many matches?
Yeah, it's $5 to get in every other Monday. They do take a couple months off, in the winter time, and then the new season starts up. They just started. I think they just had their second one last week. I think they're on their third one for this season. Yeah, it's $5. It starts at 8. I mean, they last. It all varies. Hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the max. And the matches, it's usually at least 7 to 8 matches, sometimes a little bit more. Um, but for the $5, it's honestly it's unbeatable. I mean, these kids are really, really putting the work in, and it's cool to kind of to watch them from where they started with Undiscovered and where a lot of them are at now.
Right.
So like you're really seeing them in infancy stage, and by the time before you know it, they're on the main roster. Guys like Austin Luke, Marcus, Chris Bradley, Christian Ross, Big Red. I'm missing some guys, and I'm sorry, guys. Nicholas Grant. I love Nicholas Grant. Nicholas Grant is awesome. He's awesome on commentary. He's a good wrestler. But like you see these guys in their infancy stage and see how where they are now. It's worlds of a difference, and it's again for $5. You can't. I don't even think there's. I don't even consider them student shows anymore. They're regular shows because they put the work in. And these kids are killing it. Even on a Monday night, they're just killing it.
Yeah. No, they are. And it's funny because, again, like, I call, like, everybody, like, the vets, whatever. And it's, like, not one person has said one bad thing about these kids. Like, I had a lot of guys come on the I mean, we've had Kit on. We've had Brandon Kirk on. We've had Frankie on. Like, I've had a whole bunch of people on the podcast. And they will say the same things. Like, the kids are so good. And that's why I say, like, it's just nuts to see what they're doing now and what's going to happen within the next couple of years. So I'm definitely going to come down to one of these student shows. I wish it was a little closer. I think I'm just going to have to move closer. I'm moving in with Brandon and Casey, and I'm just going to come over. Like, that's it. They're going to adopt me.
Definitely going on down there. So
yeah. So if you guys are around in Jersey, definitely go check it out on a Monday, every other Monday. The schedule is up there. So we have the intergender Bonanza 8. So that's crazy. That's this Saturday. There's still tickets available. That I know because I saw that was posted earlier. I wish I was coming to this show. Honestly, if I didn't have prior engagement with another promotion, my butt would be there. So I know, boo.
Yeah. Bonanzas, like I said earlier, the Bonanzas are fun from beginning to end. It's a good time. It's something there for literally everybody. In fact, like 2 shows ago, they had a whipped cream death match. Him and Matt before Matt retired. It was Matt against Stan Styles. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen and I've ever been involved in. Chando's in trunks, whipped cream, and a pole. It was crazy. The Bonanzas are extremely fun, but I have Wrestling Ray Lynn this Saturday, which I'm looking forward to. So that's going to be a little more of a serious type thing. I don't think I'm going in there looking to have fun with that one. I just want to get in there and just kill it and retain my title. And yeah, that's the goal. Retain the title and just keep moving forward with it. like I said, it's a great price. The shows are awesome from start to finish, and you really can't beat it. All the girls are good, guys are good.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Frankie said he's coming to pick me up. Perfect. Okay.
All the way down.
I know.
Something. I'm on.
I'm gonna steal his dog though. Like his dog's so cute. So cute. Oh my goodness, I can't. Too cute. No, but I know. I feel bad because it's I'm in that position that I support a lot of people. I support a lot of promotions. There's so many great people out there and I want to support everybody. It's hard. So, but I feel like H2O is my new home, like I like to call it. Because even if I can't make it there, I'm watching. And I feel bad that I wind up missing this past Saturday's show. So I'm waiting for ITV to put it up because the minute that it's up, my butt is watching it because I need to see. I told people don't spoil anything. So I don't know what happened. I avoided the spoilers, which I was pretty happy about. So, because somebody messaged me and they were like, oh, don't tell me. I was like,
Man, that's crazy. The spoilers for like what 2 days, 3 days now. Like
I
wow.
know it was funny because I was at UWA Elite and I peeked in on the app and it was funny. It just happened that Marcus's match was on and I was like, oh okay. I was like, let me watch a couple of minutes of this. There's wrestling live in front of me. I was like, but I have to watch Marcus for a little bit, so I got to see like a few minutes. So, but that match I did see how it ended. So, but yeah, he's great. So, but I can't wait to watch the whole show. So once that's up, so I am coming to. Oh no, it's not the paid your dues. I'm coming on the 22nd. What's that show?
I think Hardcore Kingdom.
Hardcore Kingdom. That's the biggest show of H2O, correct?
Yeah, one of the biggest shows we have. Yes, that's kind of our. I'm saying it the way. Sorry, man, if I'm not like deathmatch, hardcore show. And right now with like everything going on with 44. Oh, like who knows what the hell's going on with it? But yeah, that's one of our biggest shows of the year. Is Hardcore Kingdom. Last Hardcore Kingdom, I wrestled awesome. I loved it. It was one of my favorite matches, 4-way with Jeff King, Lilith Louie, and Devin Moore, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like Hardcore Kingdom is definitely one of our biggest shows of the year. And each show that we've had with H2O is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So like we think this is our biggest, and then we top it, and then our next one is our biggest. So
right,
yeah, crazy.
So I will be there. So you can't boo me. So I promise it's out there. The tickets are reserved. I am there. I will be there with my best friend. We'll see. I've asked if I can do like some podcasting there, so we'll see if that happens, guys. So you make sure, subscribe to the No Holds Barred Network because you don't know what you're gonna see on here. So maybe there'll be some interviews. You'll see some footage. I definitely post that on my Twitter as well for you guys. So I'm excited. So like I said, I feel bad. I see a lot of people, but I promise my butt will be at H2O. It's gonna happen, and I'll be at the Sean Henderson show as well. So I'm looking forward to that. So a lot of great things happening with H2O going forward, guys. Make sure you use code HUSTLE on IWTV. You get 5 days free. See, I know. I know.
Yeah, Sean's birthday back show. That's shaping up to be a really good show too.
Yeah, the card looks amazing. So it really doesn't matter to me. My butt was gonna come down. It wouldn't matter who's gonna be there. I definitely gonna come. So I'm gonna be there. So you guys make sure you support, independent wrestling.
Dude, there are definitely a lot of his shows are underrated. They kind of go under the radar, and I guess people are like now, especially being on IWTV, people are starting to catch on. These are really good shows.
Yeah,
and they go watch the other ones that are up there too, which is awesome.
Yeah, I had a chance to chat with him, and I was telling him, I was like, you would see me more because he said that he saw me, and I was like, yeah, if I came down to a show, I was like, he's like, I saw you, and I was like, yeah, I said, the problem is, I said, it's far. I was like, it's 2.5 hour ride from me, so I was like, but I'll get there. Don't worry. I'll be there. I promise. I said it. Like H2O is like my new home pretty much. So I'll definitely be there. So, but tell everybody where they can find you if they want to give you some love and some support, or maybe they want to tell you suck or something like that.
You just be honest. I swear to you, the DMs I get on a daily, like every other daily basis with your song's better, and it's just the most random times of the day. And sometimes I'm having the worst day, and it makes me laugh so hard. I'm like, all right, that you're right. Just move on. Facebook, I believe it's at Marc Angel. Instagram is Marc Angel 24, and Twitter as well, Marc Angel 24 on Twitter.
Cool. Is there any like merch or anything? I forgot to ask you about that, or like if they want to buy merch or.
Oh man, I didn't even grab my shirt up. I got stickers. I got T-shirts. I'm trying to get a new T-shirt designed up. I should have 8x10s for the Bonanza. I'm not sure if they get here on time, hopefully. With my pictures with my awesome customized championship.
I love that.
Dude, it is the greatest thing. And like, look, Stan made it perfect. It fits right over his face. I don't have to look at that ugly face no more. Just see this beautiful thing.
So you need to make sure you don't lose that on Saturday because I want to come take a picture with it. Okay? Can you like make sure you hold that till next month, please? Like,
she beats me, she ain't getting the belt. I'm taking the belt. So I mean, she's not gonna beat me, but even if she somehow pulls it out, I'm keeping the belt. Stan, you ain't getting the belt back.
Damn. Okay, because I want to take a picture with it. Like. I have all these like things that like I want to take pictures with you and Marcus, and I'm like, then I need a picture with Marcus and Dylan because those are my two boys, as I always say, because they were like my two first guys that like I just like fell in love with H2O. So lots of pictures. Expect that fun stuff from me, and yeah. So I guess guys, we're gonna end it on a good note. So Mark, you're the best. Thank you so much for coming on, chatting with us, and all that fun stuff. Sorry about all the people that came in here and smack talk.
I know, can't say it. No, thank you though. I appreciate the time. Had a good time. So hopefully I wasn't too boring. Again, come out, support the Intergender Bonanza, support H2O every other Monday. Undiscovered. You got Pay Your Dues coming up. We got Hardcore Tingle coming up. So yeah, come out, support.
Yeah, guys, and if you can't physically get there, make sure you go on the IWTV app, and again, code HUSTLE, so you get 5 days free. It's definitely worth it. So, but yeah, so thank you guys for watching. It was great. Make sure you like and subscribe, share all that fun stuff for me as well. Again, this Friday we'll have Chris Bradley on the Under the Rope series as well at 8:00 Eastern time, so we get to chat about him. We can talk about the microwave that he smacks people with.
Chris Bradley's got a belt, but it's definitely not as pretty as mine. I just want to start. He's still watching, listening, which he might or may not be. My belt's prettier.
Ooh, let's talk. I love it. So thank you guys again for watching, and we will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Yeah.